see that they believed that that they had to go the extra mile and not just review a beer to make that all possible. Heavy 67, whatever money you've invested in counseling, I believe for the most part has been wasted. Then there's the other side of the coin. Where would you be without?
Oh, hey everyone, JR10 Desert Gold here, watching one of my favorite channels. It's Eric over at the B&E Brew Review. Got the day off today, so I was just kind of kicking back and having a chuckle or two. He looks pretty interesting in that Speedo, or Manti as he calls it. I've just been going through a bunch of PMs and responding to a number of people that have over the past year asked me what progress I've made on my survival kits and when I would start producing them. And it's a very difficult question to answer because I will not produce anything that I know isn't 100% functional and dependable. Case in point, every single one of these has had a failure. Now, for the most part, they're minor failures, and they're all tracked back to the same basic problem. These are some of my original survival kits with solar chargers for iPhones, iPads, GPS, anything that you can plug into a USB port. Same with the original one, which got everything all fired up and off and running. Over the past year, I've been testing them in different situations and scenarios. For instance, this was my latest one. You venture into waterproofing, and I'm getting very close on it. It is water resistant at this time, which means that you could hose this thing down and have no problem with the circuitry inside, and have a survival kit and a charging device that's easily packed away in a backpack, survival kit, wherever you want to put it in the car. Another case in point, the gun case survival kit and solar charger. The one weakest link is the most frustrating for me, and it's this little switch for the light. It's a Radio Shack, cheesy. It failed, so I'm going to put a rocker switch in it. This is still a very good alternative for the car as far as having a powerful solar charger, survival kit. It's got a 200 watt inverter in there you can plug things into. Excellent. Speaking of failures, you know it's hot in the desert here when I'm outside doing a part of a video and battery falls right off the camera because the back of the battery housing melted off. Anyway, getting back to this real quick, because this isn't going to be the topic of today's video, but the one problem that has surfaced on all of them is the USB boost controller for this one here is a dual USB port, and this one functions because it's from a different manufacturer. All the others are from a Chinese manufacturer, and after a while the circuitry gives up, and while the charging circuit keeps the battery fully charged, the USB boost controller can't put out the 5 volts needed for an iPhone. So what are we doing? Before I go any further, this will be one of my longer videos. You know the drill. I'm going to be having some issues with hand tremors, slow speech, boredom, occasional drinking here and there. The hell, I'm not handling firearms today. We will in the very near future, but as of today, we're going to do something a little more entertaining, for me anyway. We're going to brew a batch of beer, but we're going to do it in a different way. So stay tuned and let's see where we wind up. All right, it looks like I've got the beginnings here. I've got my brew kettle. I've got my fermenter. Let's see what else am I in. You know, this is we're gonna do an easier approach today. I don't think I'm gonna need this big brew kettle. I think what might work even better is a regular stew pot. How about that? Yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, this fermenter kind of big for that stew pot. What can I do? Let me think here real quick. Get rid of this. Well, here's the answer. Oh yeah, this will work just fine. What we're gonna do? We're gonna brew a red ale from Mr. Beer, and I'm going to show you just how simple this whole thing is. So Eric, stop looking for excuses. Get her done. Let's get it started. Alright, so first step, got a gallon of water in the stew pot. I'm going to bring it to a boil. In the meantime, I've sanitized the Mr. Beer fermenter, washed it and used the sanitizer, so it's good to go. The other thing you're going to want to do is sanitize anything else like utensils or spoons or things like that that you'll be using during the brewing process. So use this time to kind of get everything organized and cleaned up. Alright, the water's warming up. Got my utensil, a spoon, sanitized, ready to go. Got one of my ales. It's also ready to go. Another thing you want to do while this is warming up is your malt extract that comes in the kit. You want to warm it up so that when you pour it out, it flows better. Right now I've got the can sitting out in the warm, wonderful Sonoran sun, and there won't be any trouble warming that can up to a nice pouring temperature. So moving along right as I expect, and you'll see just how easy this is to do, and it's a lot of fun. So we've got the malt water boiling. What you want to do is turn the boil off. And what you really should be doing is stirring as you pour in the malt extract. You don't want it settling on the bottom and scorching. Slowly pour it in and stir. And it looks like there's just a little bit left in the can. You can carefully get some of the hot mixture in there and pour out the remaining malt extract. And you know that I like my beers a little bit on the alcohol-oriented side, so I've got an extra pound of dry malt extract I'm going to stir in here, and a little more fermenting sugars for those little yeast guys. So, pretty simple so far. We're just boiling water, adding a couple little odds and ends here, stirring them, keeping them from burning. And now what we're going to do is turn the heat back up, get it to a boil. Alright, as you can see, we've got a nice boil going here. All the extracts are blended in. So, even though the extract that comes with the Mr. Beer kit is already hopped, thought I would juice it up a little bit. You know, Eric, you like the hops. Put some, I put some Citra in there. About half an ounce of Citra. Add it to the boil. Yep, Mr. Beer recommends 10 or 15 minute boils. So I've got this calming down now. It's been boiling for about a good 20 minutes. Basically, the boil is mostly to sterilize the wort and get all the goodness out of the malt extract. I already added, as you saw, the hopped liquid malt extract, the dry malt extract. Thought I did show you I put in some extra hops with the Citra. I think what I'm going to do also to create a unique flavor and more food for those little yeast buddies, I put in probably a pound of orange blossom honey. Yeah, it's going to be some good stuff. And remember, you want to go slow. Make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan, scorch. Add some weird flavors to it. And I'm just going to keep the heat on just long enough to get this into solution. And take it off, put it in the Mr. Beer fermenter, and we should be done. Alright, I'll stir this up a little bit and we'll get it finished off. Alright, I was going to try and pour this into the fermenter on the stove, but with my tremors, the possibilities of a catastrophe were very realistic, and the subsequent ass whooping by my wife would have been a given. So I've moved to a safer battleground. Alright, so we've got this sterilized Mr. Beer fermenter. And what we're going to do, I've got a funnel that will assist me in my endeavor, and it's been sanitized. I've got some water that I've had in the freezer chilling. I'm going to bring it up to the 1 quart mark, or I'm sorry, the 1 gallon mark. the festivities begin. Everybody ready? I'm not. And I don't know if you can see that. No scorching. There's our bag with the Citra hops in it. All is good. And the next thing we want to do is aerate the wort. And I will always, even though the spoon is sanitized, I will always make sure it's easy to do. You just have a spray bottle with sanitizer in it. And you stir the crap out of it. There we go. You want to make sure that the wort is not too hot. And I'm reading 110 on it, so it's way too hot. Now, normally if I were doing a bigger batch, then I would be using my wort chiller, but simple. What makes this a lot of fun is all you got to do is screw this on and dump some ice in the sink, run some water in there and make it a little ice bath, and you'll get the temperature down pretty quick. All right, we're at the temperature. Got her down. It's time for the final step, the pitching of the yeast. I don't have the original yeast that came with the kit. It's just kind of a spur of the moment brew session here, so I'm just using some US-05. Excellent dry yeast. This is more than what would have been used in the kit, but since I've added a number of extra fermentables in there, the extra yeast will come in handy. Now, everything again is sanitation, so you want to make sure you've got the sanitation in line. And you know, as a just a extra step, you don't have to do this, but I always do it because I'm always interested. I want to get the original specific gravity of the wort, so I can figure out after it's fermented the difference between the original specific gravity and the final specific gravity. Will give you a pretty good indication of the alcohol volume. So let's see what we've got. Take a sample. Got a little and I've got a refractometer here. So what we'll do is we'll just put a sample on that. And we'll point it towards the light and see what I come up with. I gotta get it bright. Like I could have put some more sugar in it. It's only coming in at about 17 bricks. Oh well. Like I said, this was a spur of the moment decision. So we have our starting point. What we're going to do now, I've got the yeast and sanitized scissors. I've even got the yeast pack sanitized. What we're going to do is just go ahead and pitch. Now some people just let it settle, others rock it. I'm kind of a rocker. So give it a little jostle. There you have it. I mean, in less than an hour, you've brewed a batch of beer. Well, you've put the starting point to the brewing in motion. So now what we have to do is put this in a cool, dry place and let it ferment for a couple of weeks, and we'll catch up with that. Let's go give it its new home. How about that? Okay, so all you guys, it's time to make room for the new kid on the block. I want everybody to play nice now. Don't get all funky on me here. Alright. Look, Eric, they made a nice little home for your little guy here. Yes, sir. It's a neighbor to old Mr. Number 8 there, who, by the way, is still, wow, still fermenting after a week and a half. And there's the big badass oatmeal chocolate stout. Yeah. Yeah, I got the Scottish wee heavy. Yeah. Honey ale. It's in good company, Eric. So we'll check back here a couple weeks. Let you know.